With that said, like with our local economy, maybe you have very good insight, but we've kind of spoken to a vast collective like guess on both sides of the fence, right? And we have some that are small business operators expressing that their business is down quite a bit because of short-term rentals or fires or like a, compounding effects. And then we have other people that are, expressing quite the opposite. Where are you guys seeing it from a city standpoint?
The city's still growing. People are still moving here. We're still issuing building permits, development permits. We're seeing our business licenses increase. So it's moving in the right direction. It's just at a slower pace than people were accustomed to. And unfortunately, we see fairly dramatic swings sometimes in the economy and the real estate industry. In my 20 odd years here, I find that Kelowna bucks the trend a little bit. We don't see
Yeah.
quite the dramatic swings that you see, particularly in real estate, like in, say, Toronto and Vancouver, falling off a cliff. Ours have declined, but not to the same degree.
Yeah.
So, as a really attractive place that I think is well positioned, hopefully seen as being well run, financially stable, we'll buck that trend a little bit and come out of the other side of this hopefully sooner than others. Our airport's a perfect example of that. Coming out of COVID, our airport was the fastest growing and fastest recovering airport in Canada. Where this year the airport's going to grow at about 9% passenger traffic.
Wow.
Our busiest year on record, our busiest month ever was in August, and we might eclipse that in December. So there's lots of positive indicators that Kelowna's on a great trajectory.
And this is probably a tough question, but do you know why the growth is so fast at the airport? Like obviously capacity is growing in terms of, what it can handle, but are people traveling away from Kelowna for vacations more, meaning like our economy, like we have disposable income, or is it mostly tourists coming in?
Well, we're seeing growth on both sides, but the domestic traffic certainly is up, and our team works really hard on going after new routes. It's not a passive approach that when an airline comes to us, we'll accommodate them. We're out there pounding the pavement, working with the airlines, trying to develop new routes direct wherever possible.
Yeah.
Or to major hubs like LA and Seattle, places like that, so we can get the international people up here. And remember, Canada's 40% off for everybody in the US right now. So it's a pretty attractive place to come ski and go to a winery and get a hotel or rent a boat, right?
Yeah, very much.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it kind of came from the city down. Like you guys are involved in going out and drumming up that business for the airport.
Yeah, for clarity, the airport is owned by the city. It's the largest municipally owned airport in Canada. So they report through me and council oversees them. We have an airport advisory committee where we invite people from all around the region to sit at the advisory table to make sure we're serving the entire region. But it's, owned and operated by the city.
Okay, so Doug, Taylor and I have a hockey team. We run a hockey team, and we're going to take our team on a destination tournament somewhere. I wanted to go to Nashville, but the team have vetoed it because there's no direct flight. So if we can get a direct flight to Nashville, I would.
There you go. That one sounds like it's less about hockey and more about the party.
Yeah, exactly. I'll listen to some country music too as a byproduct.
Well, to be clear, we're like 2-11 right now. So yeah, we're not about the hockey.
I don't think we're going to win the tournament, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of directs that people would love to see come back. Hawaii's one of the most popular requests I think we get. But yeah, there's plenty of them. As the airline industry sort of matures and comes back from the turmoil they went through, directs is certainly on our radar.
It's kind of coming full circle from, like that's what you're talking about when the city has investments that are doing well, that's generating income, and therefore you guys can reinvest it. Like, is the airport like one of the main investments of generating that revenue then?
The airport certainly is supporting other industry. I mean, that for us, we have a healthy development industry. We have a healthy film industry, which is growing like crazy right now. Tech and innovation industry and AO supports that as well. For us, it's making sure that we have the pieces of the puzzle in place to help influence those industries, because we're not an industry, right? We want to support the industries. But where we can stimulate economic development, like bringing in major events, I don't think people realize how much economic development that supports. Like the 2 BC Lions games that are coming in, we're going to be building a festival around that, and all through the week, it's a Canada Day week. So we're going to have a massive festival related to those 2 games. And the economic development formula, the national formula that we use for forecasting economic development for major events, suggests that that's going to be upwards of $70 million for Kelowna in 1 week. So you think of different ways you can influence economic development. This is a pretty direct way of getting money into our economy and supporting local business. So major events is something that this council's highlighted, and we're going after it in a big way.
And we just had the CCMAs, which were very successful, weren't they?
Yeah, that was just under 20 million. We did a post-event analysis, almost
Yeah.
20 million bucks into the economy for that week that they were here. By all accounts, it was pretty successful. I heard a lot of people say, why do we go anywhere else in Canada? Can't we just come back here every year? So it gets my vote.
Yeah, mine too, for sure.
In your position, how do you quantify success? Is it mostly generating revenue? And I guess second question to that would be like, what levers do you have access to pull on? Is it going up and getting those events to come in and then reinvesting in the infrastructure to then get bigger events and like it continues that way?
There's a few different things. I mean, we actively go after them, really solid submissions to go after these events. Like the Memorial Cup was a great partnership with the Rockets and the Memorial Cup committee, great videos, NHLers, like a really cool partnership. And when we went after that, we knew it was going to be pretty hard to say no, the quality of that submission that everybody put together collectively. So yeah, we could be proactive and go after them. We have to have the facilities, look at the facility and say, yeah, that thing's going to work perfectly for us. So if you look at what used to be called the Island Stage, now I guess it's the Peninsula Stage at Waterfront Park there in front of the Grand, when we rebuilt that, we built it on the advice of Live Nation, and we talked to them about, what size of venue, how many people is the sweet spot for this location, what does the stage need to look like, the sound system, the electrical, all of that kind of stuff, access points for security, all of those things. So when we built that or rebuilt that, we designed for the marketplace. Live Nation's now got us on the radar, and they will populate that as best they can, working with our local promoters and so on. And we can put between 3,000 and 5,000 people in there and do a beautiful outdoor concert in a venue that, is second to none.
Yeah. Just even sitting there without a concert going on is amazing.